In a world where nothing is as it seems, the truth lies hidden. From is more than just a TV show. It's a puzzle waiting to be solved. Join me as we share some theories and hidden Easter eggs that will change the way you watch the show forever. So, the first theory we have today is about Fatima and her weird behavior in the show lately. From her pregnancy to eating rotten vegetables. Let's watch this video.
And so today we're going to be talking about Fatima, her pregnancy, and how she may be related to Elgin. I and other fans have spotted the similarities between Fatima's fashions and the fashions of the Banshee or Ghost Lady that has been haunting Elgin. A few theories surrounding Elgin is one, that he is originally Fatima and Ellis's child from the past, grown up, which is why when he arrives on the bus, he freaks out, starts talking about this lake and this really bad dream he had. A lot of the fans in Frumley think that he is having flashbacks of when he was a baby in Frumland, and that connects to a few theories surrounding Fatima herself. There is this Brundles area, which is basically like a little lake where everyone goes swimming, that we can see her and Ellison in the first season. Ellis tells her that she is too dry and throws her into the water. Banshees are usually a forewarner of death and loss and things like that. So I don't think that the Banshee is trying to hurt Ellis. I think she's trying to help him. That is, if she is not a ghostly manifestation of what is going on in Fatima's body. Because Fatima, who tells Donna last season that she was told she could never get pregnant, now being pregnant and having the life sucked out of her by this baby, in the original appearance of this Banshee, she looks very dry of any actual substance in her face. This is when Fatima is finding out that she is pregnant. Going back to Tilly for a second and my other theories about her being very suspicious, Tilly knew that Fatima was pregnant before anyone else did. She could just tell, apparently. Still think that she is the grandmother of those 7 children that are the Ankui kids in the well, and that she can move freely between Frumland and the real world. We'll get back to that though in another video. Tilly is present in Dream in season 3, episode 1, and she's like, oh, is that the lady? She's so scary, oh my gosh. She is also giving Ellis hope about Fatima and the pregnancy, saying, you know, the first few months are really hard, but it gets better. Now, my personal theory about Elgin, Ellis, and Fatima and the baby is that they are experiencing a paradox where Elgin is existing as an adult in the current point in time and is simultaneously being formed inside Fatima's womb. See over the last couple episodes that this Banshee spirit is gaining more power the weaker Fatima gets. So now we have to ask ourselves, is this actually a ghostly manifestation of what's going on inside Fatima's body? Or is this a helpful spirit that is trying to warn Elgin that 2 Elgins cannot exist in the same time period? Because Frumland, although it may follow the similar time frame to the real world, is in its own little pocket dimension of time. And since a lot of the things surrounding Elgin and this ghost have to do with water, and Fatima will have a baby if her water breaks, I do think that there is some bigger connection here that we don't see going on. And something is inside Elgin's mind that he remembers that we have not seen yet. I find it very odd that Fatima, this entire time that her and Ellis have been together, has never gotten pregnant. I find it very strange that Tilly and Elgin arrived on the same bus, and she talks about having, you know, all these grandchildren and all these kids, so optimistic and lively, while Elgin is exactly the opposite. And also theorize that Fatima will have Elgin and have some kind of postpartum and bring him back to that lake and, you know, under the water to him. Ghost is trying to tell him that that is his future, that's what's coming, if he does not realize that Fatima is actually his mother. The only thing that's unable to back this up at the moment is the lack of understanding of how time travel works in Frumland. We know that if we go into certain areas, we could see previous like war history and different things, or go into flashbacks. When Boyd went to go into the cave with light, when Boyd went into the chamber through the tree and found the man chained to the wall, you know, that guy had been there for years, and time clearly exists differently in different parts of Frumland. We do know that Fatima is going to get worse and worse with her illness, and it could be that as she gets worse, maybe Tilly gets more optimistic and Elgin gets more afraid of what's going on in his visions. However, there was one more theory that Elgin was supposed to hear the music in the music box at the end of last season, and the Banshee was holding him underwater specifically so he would not hear it. But too many weird things are aligning, and something's going on there that I hope we find out about really soon. Because before Tilly was ever someone to be suspicious about, Fatima was the person that everyone was suspicious about. And for some odd reason, Fatima is one of the only main characters in the show whose backstory we do not know. We do not know when she arrived. We don't know where she came from. I think we know the town she's from because of the map in the sheriff's office, but that's about it.
The second theory is about Randall building an alliance with the monsters and turning on Boyd to seek vengeance against him for leaving him behind.
So I have a theory on Randall. So at first, I didn't really care for Randall's character, but eventually it started to grow on me. He's always willing to cultivate plans on getting more answers so that people can go home. Randall was also the only person to question Donna and her motives. In this episode, we learn that Randall is one of the only people who's aware of the monsters' routines. Instead of sleeping in the sheriff's station, he decides that he's gonna help out Boyd with the stakeout. Boyd is in the bus to try to learn the behaviors of the monsters that potentially catch one of them. As they're waiting around, Randall lets Boyd know that something weird is happening. So the reason why Randall tells him that it's weird is because usually the monsters would be at the bus by now, tormenting him. But Tabitha's on an ambulance truck with Victor's father, a cop, and 2 paramedics. As the paramedics arrive in town, Boyd and Randall are shocked and they try to run after it to try to make them stop. The ambulance keeps going and Jim runs out to go save Tabitha. As they're heading into town, a monster's laid out on the floor as a decoy. Tabitha tries to warn them that this is not a real person, but obviously, they don't listen to her. So the 2 paramedics get out the car and they end up getting attacked by the monster. The cop gets surrounded by the monsters and then she runs over to the colony house, leaving Tabitha and Victor's father alone inside the ambulance. As they all arrive to the truck, they realize that Tabitha is handcuffed to it. This leads to Randall running out to go get a toolkit. As he's leaving the bus, the monsters start to surround him. He throws the bag to Boyd and then he's trying to figure out a way to escape the monsters. As they're trying to unhook Tabitha, Boyd is looking for the key to start the ambulance truck so that they could drive away. One of the monsters tell Boyd that she has the key and in exchange for Randall's life she will give it to him. He looks over at Randall and he thinks about it for a second. Then he grabs the key, he starts up the truck and then they drive away. This leaves Randall surrounded by the monsters. The cicadas start surrounding him also, which makes it really hard for him to run away or escape the monsters. At this moment, I honestly felt so bad for him, but I know that it was a really hard decision for Boyd to make. So they finally arrive to the colony house, and I'm sure that they're probably thinking that Randall is dead at this point. Following Nikki's death, Donna takes Boyd upstairs, and she just starts to have an emotional breakdown, which to me seems pretty fake. But then again, I don't want to get attacked. As they're in the room, they see the ambulance lights start to flash. Donna and Boyd look out the window to see Randall laying on the front of the ambulance truck. So Randall is still alive. I have a theory that after this moment, Randall is going to turn on Boyd and seek vengeance against him. I think now he's probably going to start to try to build an alliance or cultivate some type of plans with the monsters to get into Boyd's head even more. But let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Yep, that's it. For today's video, let me know what you think about this. Theories in the comments.